Olaf.
Yeah, Matt's out until Thursday.
Okay.
All right, don't do that. Whatever that is.
Me?
Yeah, it sounded like a tornado. Yeah,
Oh, let
don't.
me let me mute. Let me mute my mic. I was moving the fan.
Oh. Um. Okay, I don't think we're live yet.
It
Is
says
that
we're
bad right
live.
there?
Does it?
Is that bad right there, Cody? Because I have the
Yes.
fan blowing on me.
Yes. Very bad.
Think we're live yet.
Oh, there we go. All right, we went totally blank. Casey, are you still there?
Yes.
All right. Um, where's my? There it is. There's we go. Casey, I can still hear that fan super bad.
All right. I will turn it off.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to start traveling with like 4 monitors and extra equipment to do to do this correctly.
Is that better, Cody?
Yes, thank you, Nicole. I'm not in the mood for your stuff right now. Nicole says we're super early, and I feel like that's sarcasm.
It is sarcasm.
There we go. Should I be in a cabin? Should I be in a cabin this week, or should I be someplace else?
Ooh, look, my phone allows me to have options.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Let's see what's commensurate.
Psychedelic.
Oh, there we go.
I'm like in a kaleidoscope.
I'm running with the Mustangs. What is on par with Beery in Washington? Because I don't think the Mustangs running is it.
Um, I don't know. Is there like one with coffee in the background?
Yeah,
That's Washington right
there
there.
you go. It's nighttime though, so I'll do the evening coffee shop. I think this is this one.
Ooh.
That's a fancy like hotel
Yeah, that's a fancy hotel in a.
or like a CEO's office.
Okay, we'll go with that. I guess I don't need notes. All right, we got people. We got people in the chat room. You guys ready to do this?
Mm-hmm.
You ready for this, Matt?
Ready as I'll ever be.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Hey everybody! It is 6:30 something. As Nicole pointed out in the chat room, we're slightly behind schedule, which doesn't happen very often. So I think we get a little bit of a pass. I am recording from beautiful Burien, Washington, just outside of Seattle, and Casey and Matt are in their respective homes, or in Casey's point, Casey's in Delaware again, and Matt is outside of a trailer park.
He's at the trailer park. But it does look like an Airstream. So it's like a
It's
with
very
a really
Fontana.
nice canopy.
It's very high-end Fontana.
Yeah, it's super fancy trailer park though. So good for you. Crazy week, and just as a heads up, the next 3 weeks are going to be similar to this with the travel schedules and things we've got going on. So we'll work through that as we go. But I think I want to lead with two things that I found out today. And then we can go into the main part of this episode, which is going to be the Toyo tire stuff. But
we won the lotto?
No. So I got it on good authority from people in the know that had a meeting with other people that are making decisions. And so the new Tacoma, this part I think everybody knows so far. The new Tacoma is coming out next year, and it will have a twin turbo option and a hybrid option, and it will be all new on a whole new platform that should be shared with the Tundra to some extent. But
the 2023, is that what it is? That's the model year? Or 4?
It comes out next year, so depending on timing, it could come out towards the end of 23 as a 23 model, or spring of 23, mid 23 as a 23 model, or end of 23 as a 24 model. I don't know. That part I didn't get. The more interesting piece of information that I was given today is that Tom Toyota. Is it Tom Toyota? Is Bob Dotson and Tom Toyota? Yeah.
I thought it was Frank Toyota.
Oh yeah, because we have Tom Iron Man.
Okay, so Frank Toyota and Frank Toyota Jr. Confirmed that the new Land Cruiser is in development that is going to veer away from the luxury vehicle market and be directly targeted at the Bronco and the Wrangler as a 4-door utilitarian off-road vehicle.
Good.
So go back to the 60 series, I would say the 60 series, which was more, even though it was a Land Cruiser and it had bells and whistles, that was more utilitarian at the time. And then the 80 and the 100 and the 200 series became the full-on luxury SUVs that were also super capable. This sounds like it's going to be, and it may carry a Land Cruiser light type of badge, but I'm picturing that Land Cruiser 60 series Land Cruiser style in a 4-door utilitarian ass kickery of a off-road vehicle.
Mark brings up a good point, though, in the chat room. He says he has it on good authority that it's still going to have drum brakes in the back. You know it will. You know that at least the Tacoma will. You know the Tacoma will. They love their drum brakes.
Let me if they
take this, assholes.
Yes, if they bring out.
Oh, you want a new truck? Watch this.
If they bring out the new Tacoma with drum brakes, it's game
65K.
over.
65K.
Yeah.
Take it. Eat it.
65K. Like you have to pay extra for the brakes. Oh, that's funny. That's funny shit, Mark. Good job. I really think that new version of Land Cruiser that's more utilitarian off-road related, going after the Bronco and the Wrangler, would be huge for Toyota. And during the conversation when this came up, they were like, someone said, well, isn't that kind of what the 4Runner is? And they said, no, that the 4Runner is it's considered a capable off-roader, but it's a family SUV. This is going to be
Yeah, that's a soccer mom SUV that happens to do exceptionally well off road.
yeah. This is going to be a vehicle aimed at the off road market the way the Wrangler and the Bronco is.
That'd be cool.
It would be.
But what's that for like several years down the line, though, right?
I don't know. It sounds like it's in development now, so I would expect it in the. They can't wait too long. If they wait too long, they won't. They will have a hard time. Maybe not. It's Toyota. I was going to say they'd have a hard time converting the market, but I think if whenever Toyota comes out with something, people will buy it.
Yeah, there'll be so many. Like, think of how many people when the JL came out, or like even people that bought JLs and then the 392 came out or the 4XE came out that immediately went and traded up.
Is this going to have a similar twin turbo option?
I don't know. I didn't get that far into the details, but if the twin turbo
Frank wasn't
Frank was trying to keep it tight-lipped. Frank and Frank Jr. Were keeping it tight-lipped. I would think that if it's a 4-door Land Cruiser of a decent size, that it would need a power plant at least as big as what the Tacoma has, right? Because it's probably
going to be like the same size as the new Bronco.
Yes, that's the target demographic is that those dimensions, the Bronco / Wrangler dimensions. So it's gonna need a power plant to move that much girth.
Maybe they bring back that old 4.7 V8 they had, like what the Tundra used to have.
I don't think they put a V8 in it. Manufacturers are going to be getting away from those V8s, and maybe the
Dodge.
No, well, Dodge is snorting a line of
coke
off a hooker's back.
What's the industry doing? It's going to electric. Fuck that.
Watch this.
Yeah, we're gonna just we're burning more fossil fuel. What else can we burn?
Yeah,
the all new 27-cylinder Ram TRX.
It'll run on old couches off the side of the road. Just throw it in the bed.
They should come up to Burien. You can drive forever. I drove the company Tundra today again, and that turbocharged 6-cylinder, man. If they put that in a 4-door SUV, it'd be a fucking rocket ship. It would be so badass. But I really look. We've talked about it before with like when it comes to pushing the boundaries and how Ford with the Bronco is pushing everybody else because they're having such an impact, and when the Ranger came out and the Colorado came out, it's going to push Tacoma and everybody else to do more. I think this is a result of the success of the Ford off-road I don't say dedicated, but off-road capable, off-road minded, targeted demographic, trying to making such an impact on the economy right now that Toyota's like, we got to get part of this. Whoa, what was that?
That sounded like one of those real squeaky farts.
That sounded like a day after you got drunk squeaker. Is that what that?
It sounded like you pushed your butt cheeks together and then farted.
Wow. I was just trying to
don't do it again. Don't do it again.
All right, not doing it.
Yeah, I would rather hear you drink than hear that squeaky fart again.
Okay.
That was horrible.
You got it.
That was horrible. All right, so enough of the insider information, the insider baseball that I got from there.
That's a first.
It's
like having
super,
some kind of.
It's because I've spent the entire day inside of a Toyota dealership the last 2 days, and there was an annual meeting, a Toyota meeting that people had come back from, and there was some insight there. So Toyota.
The last thing they said in that meeting was, Don't tell anybody about what you heard in this room.
Don't tell anybody about this Land Cruiser thing. We're keeping that.
Frank just could not hold the beans in.
But somebody's gonna bust in through the doors behind Cody and cut his throat. I told you.
He knows too much.
that no one's ever accused me of knowing too much. So the 3 weeks ago, we're gonna transition. Whoop, whoop. 3 weeks ago, Casey and Corey from Bear Valley Overland and myself were fortunate enough to get a fancy new set of tires for our trucks. Through collaboration with a couple different people, Don Alexander from Trails 411, and we got connected with the team over at Toyo Tires. Those of you that have been living under a rock may not know Toyo, but they have a long legacy in the off-road world. They've got a history in all kinds of racing, but for our demographic, there's a long history of them competing in the off-road world, including podium finishes in Baja, in Hammers, I think they showed, but just general off-road performance for the last several years. And I think when you hear Toyo Tires, you think about I'm looking for my notes from the meeting. You think about a lot of big names that are associated with that. They're a true enthusiast brand. They're going to be at SEMA this year, which I can't wait to see. They've got partnerships with Ken Block. Speaking of Ken Block, do you remember the Jim Cotta stuff? Is he still doing those videos?
Jim Cotta?
Jim Cotta, yeah. The one where
Kana.
Is it Kana? Where he flies through San Francisco in his rally car and is like jumping over buildings and stuff. Do you remember?
Yeah, he does all kinds of crazy stuff. I follow him on the gram.
Awesome. Do you, okay. So what's? I had a whole write up here, but I can't bring it up because everybody will see it. So 3 weeks ago, we got the tires installed on the trucks.
I got them like 6 weeks ago.
Was it really that long ago?
Yeah, because it was supposed to be, a different date for that whole thing.
Yeah. So we ultimately participated in a media launch event that was supposed to happen 3.5 weeks ago, but Casey set everything on fire in Big Bear, so they had to. Casey was using an angle grinder incorrectly and set the mountain on fire, so that it got pushed back to last Friday. So today is, what's today? Today's October 4th, so it was October 1st, right? Friday, October 1st? Or it was...
the Friday was the 30th.
Yes, Friday the 30th.
And then Saturday,
yeah. So then... I like the fact that I had the tires put on the truck that much longer prior to the event. So... once I got the tires installed on the truck, I was able to drive down the mountain, up the mountain, down the mountain, and back up the mountain again before the first opportunity to get them on dirt.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you that, let's talk about the Toyo tire lineup first of all. So Toyo has an AT and an MT, like most manufacturers, right? I was thinking about going back to when I first started wheeling, those were your only two options. It was either an all-terrain or a mud terrain. That's all you got.
And I don't think anyone really ran mud terrains unless you were a mudder back then.
Yes. It was primarily all-terrains and mud terrains. So then, I don't know, I should probably do research, but maybe 10 years ago or so, the hybrid market started coming in. Your rough terrain, your middle of the ground, somewhere in between the all terrain and the mud terrain was the hybrid, the rough terrain, if you will. And Toyo has the RT, the Toyo Open Country RT, which falls in the middle of that lineup. But if you look at that tire, and I'm no tire scientist, but through the education that I got over the weekend, that RT shares a lot of DNA with the MT tire. So when they look at that as a middle of the ground tire, it leans towards the MT side. So what they wanted to do was give customers an option in between the RT and the all-terrain, and that's where the open country RT trail comes in. So if you were to look at the lineup of the Toyo tires, the off-road offerings from open country from the Toyo lineup, so think of the AT as your standard all-terrain, the RT Trail as your all-terrain plus, the RT as the mud terrain light, and the MT as a full mud terrain. So now you've got 4 options based on your driving capabilities and daily driving needs. As you guys know, we all have spent the last 3.5 years or so on mud terrains. And the off-road performance of a mud terrain, I truly believed at the time, like, you know, that the mud terrains made a huge difference, at least. And I can say I love those tires. And coming from the tires I had prior to that, those mud terrains, you get them on the dirt, they were amazing. But like with any mud terrain, they were loud on the road, and we just acknowledge that as part of the reality of driving with mud terrains. So we'll talk a little bit more about how these compare to that experience, but going back to the 3 weeks that I've had these tires on the truck, going up and down the mountain, driving around town, the 3 things I really noticed off the bat. One, sound. Unbelievably quiet. And Matt got the chance to ride in there as a passenger and hear it. Casey, did you have the same experience? Was the going from an MT to these RT trails, what was your experience with the sound?
Huge difference with the sound, especially on like going from worn out MTs, like that. I think MTs get louder as you wear them down, I think. Right?
Oh, for sure.
I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with this tire, but they're quieter even than the brand new MTs for sure. You know, it was a huge difference.
Yes.
They absolutely get quieter as compared to the used or worn MTs. You know, it was noticeably different. And then, you know, we did a small recording while sitting in the Bear Valley booth and discussed some other specifics as far as the difference between the 2 tires.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, my interest is in sand.
Oh yeah. We'll get to the off-road performance in a minute. I want to.
Yeah, I can't speak to the differences at this point, but I think that would be one of the bigger aspects.
So on the road, significantly quieter. I found that on the road, significantly more control and traction, which you would immediately expect, right? That wasn't a large surprise. The contact patch on the road is better.
I
believe it's pronounced contact panch.
The contact panch. The contact.
It's 100% contact panch. We had discussed that at length. Contact panch.
Look, when I'm tired, I make up words. I make up words when I'm tired, and I'm really tired right now.
I like it. We're gonna go with that.
The contact panch.
Industry standard contract panch, and we'll do. You know, it's like 5 stars to 1 star.
How many panches is that? What's your panch rating?
What's your panch star rating?
Like, you know what, those tires have low panch.
Yeah, these are very high.
I got a heavy load panch.
These tires have definitely a higher panch than the mud terrains because of the gaps between the lugs. We've talked about that.
That's the amazing thing about these tires. They're a higher panch when you want them and a lower panch when you want them. You know, so it's really
it's dual panch.
Dual panch.
Oh my god,
it's a dual panch product.
But with that contact patch and difference in tread design, I personally found that the truck didn't wander as much as it did with the MT. Did you experience that case? Like to me, the truck tracked better when you're just kind of, not only did it grip better coming up and down the mountain, but it tracked better just in daily driving.
Yeah, I think, and I'm not a tire scientist, but if you imagine like those larger lugs of an MT, like gaining and losing traction, like in fractions of a millisecond, right, as you're
Mm-hmm,
driving,
mm-hmm.
and especially on a turn, like getting your tires to bark at you, like on those MTs, that wasn't hard to do, you
No,
know.
not at all.
And but I think I definitely experienced the same things that you had, where it's 100% contact like the whole time, like
Yeah, yeah. I didn't.
um,
I try. So after I forgot about that part. After you guys installed them at Bear Valley, and I brought the truck down the mountain, got home. The next day it was raining here in Southern California. We had that random tropical storm. So I went and dropped off Presley at school. Came back, drove past the house, and behind my house they're doing a bunch of construction. So there's a whole new track of homes that are going in back there. So I went down there early in the morning, and may or may not have, depending if there's law enforcement listening.
That just means more people waiting in that Costco gas line.
Oh, don't even! I fucking ran into
Just so
Costco
you know.
gas here, dude. It's the same up here. Anyways, so I tried. So picture new asphalt, and wet for the first rain in a while. I tried to from a stop punch it and break the tires loose on the wet pavement, and I couldn't do it. The only way I could get those tires to break loose is if I did a full 90-degree turn and punched at the same time, which I would say on wet in the MTs it was easier to break loose on wet pavement, which again, I'm no tire scientist, to Casey's point, but that seems understandable, right? That that's the trade-off with a mud terrain when you put them on.
yeah.
And you're on mute, Matt, so I can't hear you.
All right, chat room's going down right now.
There is some chat room stuff going down right now. Thank you, Tim, for bringing everybody up to speed. The
only chat room people are being brought up to speed.
Yeah, Tim's actually doing color commentary as we speak. So I mean, just overall, from a roadworthy performance, I can't imagine. I'm super happy with the way they performed on the road. Like definitely better road manners than any mud terrain I've ever driven on.
And I think at least me and you, Cody, we were talking about wanting to experience something other than a mud terrain, like a really good all terrain or a hybrid terrain, just to see if we could.
Yeah, look,
if still have the traction that we want, but get some, maybe more MPG, maybe definitely quieter. Just wanting to experience something other than an MT, and this kind of fell in our lap. So.
I've always preferred a mud terrain or hybrid. I've always preferred an all terrain or a hybrid to the mud terrain for my daily driver. When I had a Jeep that just was primarily my weekend wheeler and I didn't have to drive it every day, great. But I've always preferred, and based on our relationship with Nexen, the MTX was the tire that they wanted to push. So that's the tire that we had on the trucks, right? If the ATX had come out sooner, then maybe we would have had those. I would have preferred a all-terrain or hybrid. Prior to the relationship with Nexen, I had Wild Peaks, right? That was that hybrid, the Wild Peak AT3. That was the hybrid that Falcon offered that was tried to slot into that in between mud and all-terrain tire. And
hybrid slots.
Yeah, the hybrid slot. You gotta, dude. If you're gonna do anything, you have to address the hybrid slot. If you ignore the hybrid slot,
a lot of people don't want to address the hybrid slot.
If you ignore the hybrid slot, you're gonna regret it later. Fortunately, Toyo has spent so much time in the hybrid slot; they've dropped 2 options in the hybrid slot. And
when you put enough time and money into a hybrid slot, you will come up with a contact panch that is unrivaled. Mm-hmm. Just
that's the good thing.
Science. That's science.
That's the good thing about you guys is I forgot that I even said the word pinch because that was like 5 days ago. Like until you said it, I never would have remembered that conversation
I've been
occurred.
waiting for this day to bring up that you said I've been waking up in the middle of the night just going pinch.
Contact pinch.
Contact pinch.
It's like aligning your gears or whatever. Just goes together.
I don't even know what I said earlier today at this point. Like I'm so old and tired that I can't recall any of that stuff. So I think that Casey would agree the on-road performance coming from mud terrains, huge improvement, exactly for the reasons that Casey and I had talked about previously about the MPGs and the handling and noise and all that stuff. Like this is right there in that world where you're like, I want a tire that looks aggressive because it's got a really blocky sidewall to it, looks aggressive but rides on the road in a more refined manner than a dedicated off-road tire. That was my experience for the 3 weeks leading up to the media event. So we'll talk about Friday, the media event. It started Big Bear at the lodge up at Big Bear, where we went up and met. So Casey and Corey from Bear Valley Overland were part of the trail guides that were working with Trails 411, Don Alexander's group, to outline the trail, which Casey did. Bill and Wendy and Don, are they the ones that mapped out that trail?
Yeah, I think Don pretty much chose that trail. It's won the training area first.
Yeah, the whole. When I say the trail, I'm talking about all of the different trails that we went on, because that was an epic trip that I would love to take our group on for a day. It was that whole link of trails through the training center, down that Black Diamond and back up. That was a lot of freaking fun.
Yeah, no, it's a great, like they were calling it, entry level Black Diamond. Very similar to White Mountain, which is also a Black Diamond, but it's not John Bull. You know what I mean? It's not Holton Creek or whatever.
But we talked about that part for my truck, for a mid-sized truck with 33s. That truck used every bit of articulation and wheel well that it had to get through that obstacle course.
So did mine.
Yeah. And yours needed 3 more inches of wheel well. We'll talk about that in a minute because, Casey decided to, since he was getting these tires, decided to stuff 35s under that Frontier. And it looks so bad. Matt has size envy so bad right now.
I keep telling myself it's not about size, but now that I've seen it, it is about size. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm having I don't want to say I'm having nightmares, but damn it. White Lightning is falling behind. I think Blue Thunder.
It's more like White Static Shock now. It's like White. I rub my socks on the floor and shock somebody.
Yeah,
it's not the Lightning that it used to be.
It's Static Shock. Yeah, it's called Frustration Shock.
So how did
Shock Envy?
I just figured. I think I told you this, Cody. I was like, I keep going back and forth. Like, should I just do it? I can always throw the 33s I have back on afterwards. But if I don't do it, then I wish I had gone with the 35s. And then
it's the same conversation we had with Mark a year and a half ago.
Dude, yeah. And, I mean, I literally would just sit in front of the TV, not even watching, and just back and forth, pros and cons, and well, what if they don't fit? What if my car doesn't even want to fucking move after I put the 35s on, and back and forth? And I was like, you know what? At some point, you just got to stop being a little bitch and get the 35s. And so I did it.
And now I want them bad. Matt and I are we definitely have size envy. Because Corey's got them too. And they look amazing on the Colorado. that Colorado, side note here, that Colorado was the talk. It was the belle of the ball, talk of the town.
Yeah.
Like everybody was talking about Corey's truck because not only did he put the 35s on, but he put aftermarket flared out front quarter panels, giving it more clearance, and it just looks badass. He has done such a good job with that truck.
Mm-hmm. That suspension is crazy.
Yeah. So we met at the lodge in Big Bear. We did a media event where we got to talk to a bunch of people. Jason Vanado from Outdoor by 4 was there. Sean Holman and Lightning from the Truck Show podcast were there. We had, let me see, who else was there?
They acknowledged you, or did they ignore you? Like most times they ignore us, or
they never ignore. They're always gracious with their time.
Oh, okay.
Brian Dorr from Gear Junkie was there. He and the way they did it was, so Casey and Corey were considered trail guides, and I was kind of this hybrid media / trail guide because I was part of the Don Alexander, Casey and Corey team. So Jason rode with me all day long in my truck, and then a couple of different people from Toyo bounced in and out, and then the Casey
did Steve Garvey make the event?
I didn't see Garv's. I think he was on the roster. He just something else came up.
I just wanted to throw that out there because last night, I don't know if people were watching the Dodger game. There was a foul ball like to the third base side ground, field level seats, and the guy that caught it was right behind Steve Garvey. He saved Steve Garvey. Steve Garvey got it. Nice. He just happened to be sitting there, and he shook the guy's hand. And I'm like, I don't even think that guy knows who that is.
Nobody cares.
All right, well, I cared.
Matt was like, I will lick your hand.
I told Monty, I was like, that was me, and Steve Garvey just
wants to do
stood
something
up in
else
front
with
of
that
me.
hand.
I would have sat in the aisle right next to Steve Garvey the whole game.
Steve Garvey
made people walk around me.
Steve Garvey would have shook his hand, and then he would have seen Matt's O face.
Yeah, 100%.
Everybody would have saw my O face. It was on TV.
What are you doing right now, sir?
Yeah. So Brian Dorr from Gear Junkie. Brian Dorr from Gear Junkie was there. He rode with Casey most of the day. Interestingly, I sent you guys the link. The Gear Junkie article is already up. Brian's already got the article up, and it's got really good pictures of Corey's truck, of Casey's truck, and of my truck. There were several other media outlets there that, and I didn't recognize. I didn't get the chance to talk to many of them because as soon as the meeting was over, it was like, to the vehicles. These are the vehicles you're assigned. I will say, Bill and Wendy from Trails 411, as trail guides and leaders of this thing, they had it dialed in. John, the marketing guy from Toyo, dialed in. Like it was, you knew what was happening next and who was going where. We loaded up, left the hotel. Went straight to was it Polite Canyon? What was the entry point?
2N01.
Okay, and the entry point of the trail, got ready to go, and then
air down. They had beef jerky.
Yeah,
they had
snacks,
coffee.
the whole thing. Air down, and then took off, and it was like, the funny thing was I let Jason drive almost the entire day. Because I wanted him to have the experience. I had, several of these trails in Big Bear I'd been on before. And I wanted him to have the experience in these tires, in my truck, in Big Bear. And I'm really glad we did that route. I got to drive a little bit towards the end, but I was able to get out of the vehicle and take pictures and video of my truck that I never get the chance to do because I'm always leading the trail and having panic attacks on a regular basis. So we hit the trail. Trying to think of, basically without giving the trail away, we basically made our way through several different trail versions. There was surprisingly a crap ton of mud. My truck is still absolutely covered in mud because I told Jason, I was like, dude, drive it like it's yours. He's got a Tacoma. He wheels a lot. I'm like, drive it. He's like, are you sure? I'm like, this truck is bulletproof. There's nothing you can do to break it. Don't worry about it. Just have fun. And we got to the first puddle, and he went ape shit in that first puddle. and then I was like, oh shit. And then we came up to the next one that was even bigger, and I was all, wait a minute. And I got out and there's already a video on TikTok and Instagram of him bombing through this big tunnel. And my truck was covered after that. And we went through a couple more. The window was down, so that like mud splashed on the inside. It was a lot of freaking fun. He did a great job driving, and it was a lot of fun. We went to the training area over by Rose Mine. For those of you that have never been there, you should. And it was there's a big, I don't say one big hill, but there's an area where there's about 3 or 4 different trails that go up and or down into this second tier of trail. And depending on which way you go, it's either if you go around the back, it's a more steady climb. And on the front, it's pretty steep and rutted. And Wendy had the group go up and down almost every combination of that in the vehicles. And I was really impressed with how well my truck made it up there on those tires. And I was able to get some video of Casey going up, Brian driving your truck, and how stuffed those 35s were in the bed of your truck. Like,
I need that video.
You've seen it's on. If you go to the Instagram page, it's on there. It's the
I saw a picture. I didn't think I saw a video.
It's also on TikTok. If you go to, we have the Tickety Talks now, dude.
No, I know, but I thought it was only a picture. I thought
there was video. I have a much longer video, but there was a video on the Tickety Talk. I'm not sure if you're familiar with TikTok, but it's
I got some trimming to do.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. You are using, like I said, every single bit of...
I paid for it.
So we did the training area, and then what was
lunch?
Oh, that's right. Then we stopped for lunch. They had, dude. I don't want to tell people this because I feel like we're losers, but they had someone drive in to cater lunch, and it was tacos, and it was just tons of good food. And the training area, Matt, you've been there. You know what we're talking about.
And all you can say, the only thing you can come up with is tons of good food, tacos.
Well,
and
rice and salad,
okay, yes, tofu and chicken
and tofu,
steak.
Okay, thank you. Those are the specifics I'm looking for.
Okay, tons of good food. Matt, you know what we're talking about, the training area, the Mars area over by Red Mine where the red clay is, right? So
that's where I trucks. We all humped that hill.
Yeah, we definitely mounted.
That's the training area.
That's the training area.
That hill was pregnant, full of Nissans.
And that's the one time we went up there when Presley was young, and she was red after that from rolling around in the dirt. So you know that it's a good trail to get up there. So we get up there, and the caterer's there feeding us, and behind the caterer is the Fiat 500 that they drove to get there. And we were all like, holy shit, how did that happen? And we finished lunch, and the caterer was supposed to go take off to go get ready for dinner for later that night, and the Fiat 500 did not make it out. I don't know how it got in there in the first place, but we passed it on the trail later that day because it was broke down. So don't take your
flat tire.
Yeah, don't take your Fiat 500 up there. We did lunch.
Isn't a Renegade technically a Fiat 500?
It's built on the same chassis. That's exactly what I said. It's built on the same chassis as a Renegade, but clearly that 500 is sitting way lower to the ground.
Crazy, like low pro tires, dude.
Yes. Okay, so then we did lunch, and then we did some more trails, and then what was the? Do you remember the trail designation for that Black Diamond we went on?
2N70Y.
So look up 2N70Y, and we took that. You come off the main trail, and you basically head down into the valley for a few miles.
Into a crevasse.
Into a crevasse, and it's very tight, rutted, and rocky. And I don't know. At one point, I was behind Corey. My truck was behind Corey, and whoever was driving Corey's truck just went right over an obstacle, like without even looking at the obstacle, dropped the front tire of Corey's truck into this hole, and the whole truck rocked. And I'm surprised it didn't go over. Like I was
sitting. It's on the gram if you look on the BVO page. Yeah, I was sitting there filming it, and I like held my breath for a minute. I saw that tire drop in, and I went.
Yeah, it was gnarly. It was. Corey said they were just talking and not really paying attention to right off the edge of that rock.
Clearly, nobody was paying attention.
Yeah, but so that section of trail was what I would consider at the upper end of what we do in our vehicles from a rock crawling perspective, right? It's not Joey D Megatron, 40s on Dana 60s. Like he wouldn't have had a problem, but for the mid-size trucks and Jeeps that were on that trail in the 33 to 35 inch tire range, it was a challenging, fun trail. That's why I said I want to go back.
Mm-hmm.
I think at that point, when the truck was off camber on some of those rocks and trying to maneuver through those ruts, I think that was the point when I realized, holy shit, these tires haven't slipped. I haven't slid. I haven't kicked up any rocks, like trying to gain traction. None of it. Like I didn't feel that there was anything there was nothing we weren't able to do on that trail that I felt like I would have been able to do better with mud terrains.
Right.
If that makes sense. It's, because going back to what we were talking about earlier with the on-road performance, like you get that on-road performance, you would expect that from a hybrid tire, right? But at that point, you're like, okay, well, what am I sacrificing in the dirt or on a trail?
So I noticed while on Saturday we were driving up for
that's right.
our Q&A. I don't know if you remember, you were driving like a busted asshole.
I was driving like
on some fucking roundabout trail to get to Holcomb Valley Ranch, which is like, it's straight in off of, run past Fawnskin. It's like it literally is the second left after Fawnskin. And it goes like straight back, not even 10 minutes, and like you're there. But I don't know what happened.
I just punched it into Google Maps, and Google Maps had us turn on this back road trail.
Hey, Google Maps also wanted you to go out to the high desert to come in to that point. So, and you were about to do it. I was about whatever. To do it. You found a very interesting trail, a roundabout way to Holcomb Valley Ranch, which I would like to go back and do in my truck myself.
Oh, but you got car sick. I wouldn't want you to get car sick again.
Yeah, as I was holding back my vomit from one, riding in your Ford Ranger, and two, like watching you drive through that, like, God, why are you taking these corners so horribly? But whatever. I did notice, like, these tires seem to get pretty good traction, because I'm not noticing. I don't feel the fear that we're gonna slide off of this trail. It seemed like you were able to maintain some control there. So that
was
again,
at street pressure. That was at full street
100%.
Yeah, that was at full street pressure, not even aired down, because I punched in the coordinates that Casey gave us to get there, and Google was like, turn here, and I was like, because I expected to be on the dirt road, the service road all the way there, and I just hooked the right hand turn
from my house.
Yeah,
you were expecting to take dirt from my house when you picked me up.
And I get my point is, I drive so good that it made Matt sick. That's the way I'm taking that. Is that my Ford was going so quickly over these obstacles and around these corners with reckless abandon, like just my driving skills.
Getting nauseous again. Just listening to this is making me dizzy. My stomach is queasy. Just going back thinking about it.
So, Casey, what was your? I talked a little bit about my how I felt. Like I felt like I didn't lose any off-road performance with the gain in road performance. What was your take?
Same. I think I told you because I got him before you did, and I had sent you pictures and stuff saying like, the biggest concern is, am I sacrificing traction for the little bit of, 1 more mile per gallon, or how much road noise am I gonna lose, whatever. And when I just visually was like, I don't think I'm gonna lose like much, if any at all, traction with these tires, and I really don't think that I did. We tried a couple things like in just 4 high that I normally would have automatically put it in low with the locker on, and there was a couple issues, but I just think that was just more. I don't think it would have mattered what other tires I had on there. It was just beyond the 4 high capability. You know what I mean?
The question I have, and this is, I'm sure everybody listening has the same concerns. Would it be even that much harder for Kevin Jones to keep up with me if I had these tires on the Frontier?
The answer,
probably.
The answer,
especially if they were 35s.
Yes, the answer to that is yeah. And I'm looking at the Gear Junkie article because it's got a couple good pictures and it was readily available. And Matt, I think you would be super pleased to know that in the picture of Casey's Frontier coming up the hill, the Brahma Bull is right there.
I love it.
Front and center.
I love it.
Front and center. And there were a couple.
You're the best, Casey.
There was a couple.
I've had a couple people. They're like, "Oh, like what's that?" It's a bull. It's a futuristic Brahma Bull.
Yeah, it's like the Denver Broncos if they were the Brahma Bulls.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. If they were the Brahma Bulls in the year 3052.
I don't know
because it's futuristic.
There won't be any more Brahma Bulls.
I don't know if it's that far in the future. I don't think we'll have different senses then. We won't even need eyesight. It'll be crazy 1,000 years from now.
So
I watch a lot of sci-fi.
I guess it sounds like it. So then we went
in that trail, Cody.
Yeah.
That trail goes down, and we turned around, but it just keeps going. It goes back up to the main road.
Okay,
back up to that 2102.
Yeah, we had got to that one point where everybody turned around and went back up, which for this type of tire test I appreciated, because a lot of that stuff, you know how it is. You go down a trail and then back up a trail. It's a very different experience, right? Mm-hmm. And being able to hit all of those obstacles in both directions gave a really good feel for what the tire capability is. So we did that trail and then worked our way out and ended up at and then shortly after that is when we switched and I got to start driving, and so we took whatever road that was to get out, and we ended up at Holcomb Valley Ranch for the evening. At that point it was probably like 5:15. I mean, so I think
we rolled in about 5.
So the media event started at 9. So it was a full day. It wasn't like a tire test where you got to go on an obstacle course and go, oh yeah, this was a full day of driving on the road, airing down, wheeling all day, and then at the end of the day, I hadn't planned on camping and spending the night. Some people did. So I was able to air up and drive all the way back down at the end of the day, and again experience these tires back on the road again. Saturday morning, I picked up Matt and we drove, as we were just talking about, through the river and over the river and through the woods to get to Holcomb Valley Ranch on my little side trip. So Matt got to experience a little bit of off-roading in the tires, and then the Toyo Trail Pass event, which is their vendor expo, and I don't know how would you explain it? It's like a vendor expo, and they had a bunch of workshops, and it was held at Holcomb Valley Ranch. We got up there. Bear Valley Overland had a booth. We had a ton of people.
It's like a small off-road show / tire launch.
Yeah, and I really feel like they were hampered a little bit by the Off-Road Expo and the shift in schedule from the fire and all that stuff, but it was still a really, really good turnout. I was really surprised at how many people were both camping and participating in the event for the day. So Matt and I basically just hung out with Corey and Casey at the Bear Valley Overland booth all day long, selling Ironman products, hanging out, talking to people, until 4:00 in the afternoon. We did a open Q&A workshop, and the way that worked is the Toyo team was like, hey, do you want to do a workshop on Saturday? And it was like Wednesday at that point. And I'm like, I got nothing. How about we just do an open Q&A? And they were like, fine. So it started off with just literally two people sitting there. And I was like, all right, we're going to do this. What do you guys want to hear about? And by the end of it, we had a decent sized crowd of people that were
they hung on our every word.
They thought we were idiots for sure. They did chuckle at a couple dad jokes, but ultimately we got to talk to them about the podcast, how it started, what kind of things we do, what our group is like. They asked some technical questions about the show. That it was really fun. I was like kind of worried about how it would go, but it ended up going really, really well. And I think we should do more of those. So we did that, and then Toyo did a giant raffle, and I mean they gave away tons of shit. Casey's wife won tons of shit. Casey's wife got booed because she'd gone up there 3 times to win stuff.
Yeah.
So they did the raffle, and they did Chase from 2-Track Nation, Jason Point, was there doing at the end of the night he did an astrophotography workshop.
That's like the Lexus version of Joey D's Megatron.
Yeah, dude, that truck is so stupid awesome. See what else, but I mean it was 2 days of getting to experience the Toyo Tire team, the tire launch, and getting to interact with a bunch of different people from the media side, and then enthusiasts that came up for the Trail Pass event to hang out with. And I mean it was super cool. I will say that trail is something I really want to go back and do. I would love, Matt and I were talking a little bit about somehow scheduling an event using the Holcomb Valley Ranch for that camping area, and all that was awesome. I'm super appreciative that we were included in the media event for this. Super appreciative to Toyo for the tires and getting the chance to check them out. And I think my final thought would be, and I said this a couple times on Friday, is with the 4 tires that they're currently offering in their open country lineup, for me, the RT Trail is like the Goldilocks of tires. It's just right for me. Now, I think with the all-terrain, the RT Trail, the RT, and the mud terrain, like you can pretty much fine-tune exactly what you want your tires to be, and still have that same experience because of the technology behind the tires. But that RT Trail falls squarely into the category, that hybrid category that I've talked about in the past, wanting to have something that's definitely more comfortable on road, more road performance, better manners on road, yet I don't feel like I'm sacrificing anything on that type of trail. Now, Matt, you brought up sand, right? I have no idea. There's no spots in Big Bear to test that.
So I'll bring up my my life experience, I guess, on sand with MTs and then all terrains. And previously, I've done the Mojave Trail and the Frontier a couple of times. The first time was, I believe it was stock. I wasn't on the MTs yet. I was on the all terrains that it came with. And I remember going into the Punch Bowl and just it seemed, and I made this comment at the time. I don't know if you guys remember or not, but I remember the truck. It seemed to run cooler, and I was able to maintain, take, let's just say, skip across the sand instead of having MTs with those big lugs like digging and creating like more load.
Mm-hmm.
So having this another option now where, again, you have more contact panch with these RTs. I wonder how that would feel. I'd be very much interested, especially airing down.
Let's go.
And an excessive contact panch on sand.
Let's go test that panch ASAP.
We got to test that panch, guys. Test that panch. And see the difference.
You mentioned the digging. One thing I noticed on the trail with these tires versus the MT, I always felt like the MT was grabbing rocks on, like when you got loose rock on top of the hard pack, grabbing rocks and spitting them out. Like I would hear the clank, 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 clank underneath my truck all the time. And I think that's just because of the large lug gaps, they can get behind a small rock and kick them out, right? These didn't do that. It was like it's like it's set on top a little bit and just use the corners to grab and move over the rock as opposed to kicking them out. And I don't know if that's a scientific fact about these types of tires, but that's the way it felt to me. It's like less.
I'm gonna tell you, using my tire science degree that I feel that I've established, the MTs look great though. I mean, having that heavy lug pattern, those do look cool. That's like one of those things you have to weigh. Yes, you're gonna get a little more road noise. You're not gonna wheel all the time. You're definitely not gonna mud all the time. But they look great. But those RTs still looked very aggressive. So it's something to weigh, with your options, and how often are you going to wheel? I don't know. I look forward to hopefully getting able to try these out, myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's one of the things that they did in this open country RT trail that could have been a very big miss if they didn't. The sidewall pattern and the shoulder lugs of the RT trail are more aggressive than an all-terrain, but not as aggressive as a mud terrain. So if they were to roll this out with the new tread pattern and then rounded off the shoulder lugs and didn't put that extra meat there, you would just see it as another all-terrain. But they didn't do that. They give you that sidewall protection through the lugs and that squared off look.
Meaty shoulder lugs.
Yes, meaty shoulder lugs, dude. If you don't,
go on. I don't know if you noticed, like, there's probably people that are really excited right now the way you're talking about things.
If you don't have
meaty shoulder lugs and contact pads,
I had to have my meaty shoulder
tire
lugs.
Enthusiasts.
I had to have my meaty shoulder lugs.
You're talking dirty to them. You're talking dirty to some tire enthusiasts right now.
Well, somebody's getting their meaty shoulder lugs worked on. That's for sure. Anyways, they've definitely hit the mark on that piece of it, that part of the design. See, I have my notes.
Voldemort.
Oh, you guys! If you're not in the chat room, you're missing out. My my notes from the media meeting is extra thick sidewall and shoulder lugs, and they come with
Beady.
a 45,000-mile tread wear warranty. Advanced compound delivers exceptional wet traction, durability, and wear life. They're launching November 1st. They're officially launching for purchase November 1st, which is just 3.5 weeks from now, or 4 weeks from now.
You're gonna have like 48 sizes or something like that available.
47 SKUs up to 38 inches, 16 to 24 inch rim sizes.
Up to 38 inches.
Woo!
Yes.
Woo!
That is a full 38 inches of girth.
You go cool off for a minute.
Can you imagine the size? Can you imagine the meat on those shoulder lugs on a 38? That's gonna be
and that contact pinch. It's too much to bear.
Well,
guys.
that's how you get that pinch. You have to have meaty shoulder lugs to get the pinch.
Yeah,
max pinch.
Yep.
I feel like
maximum pinch.
I feel like Toyo needs to hire us for marketing brainstorms. No, guys, here's what you got to do. It's the contact pinch.
That's right. Create your own. You know, categories.
Every other manufacturer's like
compatibility or
pinch.
The RT pinch
can be whatever you want.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, I couldn't be more happy with the tires, right? I mean, we've been fortunate enough to be able to drive on multiple types of tires and multiple manufacturers over the course of the last several years, and I think you guys know us well enough to know that you know, if we weren't happy, we would tell you. But I feel like, going back to my Goldilocks comment, I feel like for a lot of people, especially that are building out what would be considered an overland rig, the option of going from all-terrain all the way up to the aggressive tread of a mud terrain and having two other versions in the middle makes it so that you can refine what you want your truck to be. And I really like this hybrid segment, this just more aggressive than an all-terrain for me personally. So I feel like there's and we've already.
I would say me too, but I can't. All right, edit that.
I honestly think, Matt, that they would be a perfect fit for you because of the amount of miles you put on your truck. I mean,
there you go. Yeah,
right. We just got to figure out how to get you a set. But it's it would be a really, really good option for you. Again, because of all the commuting that you do. So I mean, that's the take on the RT Trail. Again, if I think you guys know us well enough to know that if we didn't like it, we would tell you. I'm very, very happy with it. I'm surprised that I'm grateful that they're not asking for them back. I want to keep them. They're on the truck full time now. So I'll have.
I know it's a technicality, but if you try to take this away from me, I'll punch you right in the face.
I do agree with Matt. I would like to get them into some sand. Based on the performance that I've seen with these tires so far, I would expect that performance to continue, and you know, hit those expectations. But we don't know until we actually do it. We definitely need to figure out a way to get into some sand soon. With my work schedule, I don't know how it's going to happen. So, any other final thoughts?
No.
I'll have. I've got a blog post written up. I'm gonna put that over to the course of the next few days. I want to add some good pictures and stuff. Like I said, there's been a ton. If you just search the Toyo Tire Open Country RT Trail, you'll see a ton of media coverage on it already. you may find pictures of our vehicles in that media coverage. I'm told that one of the other podcasts that was there mentioned us, and I haven't listened to the episode yet because I've been working all day. But it's definitely going to be a big splash in the tire market when this actually hits consumers on November 1st.
Mm-hmm.
And I would assume, I did not make notes, but I would assume that it's going to be available at all the normal, markets retailers that you would get your Toyo tires from no matter what. Right?
Yeah, I would imagine so. They're going to have all their distributors ready to go.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And they'll be. I mean, they made a very big point about being at SEMA this year. So, I am looking forward to seeing them and what they're doing. They're going to be doing some kind of a tire experience at the show. I'm looking forward to seeing what that's like.
What do you think a tire experience would be like? Maybe they kind of create like hammocks or something.
No, I'm sure it's tires on vehicles that you get to drive in some form or another. So that's what I would think that means. All right, what else, guys? Anything?
Maybe like a jungle gym of tires that you can climb on.
Parkour. You can do a tire.
Yeah, like
parkour.
You could.
You totally could. Totes but goats. I'm gonna put you guys on the spot real quick. Are you guys doing anything this weekend?
There's been lots of talk in the chat room. I'm still up in the air just with the baby and leave it. It's a lot to put on somebody to wake up every 2 hours throughout the night So I don't know. We're weighing options right now as far as me and Susan go.
Okay. Matthew?
I suppose I could. I would like to go camping this weekend. I think Yeah, you know what? I do have Friday off. I'm sorry, I have Monday off. I took that day off. So I think Kate, I don't think anything has necessarily changed since this weekend, since I talked to Casey. If Casey is available, we can just do something local. But if not, that kind of opens up a bunch of stuff. If I still wanted to go out and do a two-nighter.
Yeah, there's definitely plenty of people in the chat room wondering what's going on and saying that they want to head out to Anza.
I think you guys should go. I can't go. You guys, I think you guys should go. You should go do something.
We're still mowing it over.
How would people connect with you if they wanted to attend an event that you guys were going to do on the weekend?
Matt?
I think half these people have my phone number.
I was going to say, I think.
If not,
I've already gotten several texts saying, what time are you getting to camp?
I haven't gotten it, so that's.
And if they don't have your phone number to text you, they definitely have your Instagram account.
Matt's Volta on the gram. So if you guys shoot me again, half these people shoot me shit every day on the gram. So if you guys were interested, let's spitball some ideas. And
why is it a long weekend? Is there a holiday Monday?
No, Matt we were supposed to go, and Matt
Shy mentioned it's a long weekend.
Shy said it's a long weekend.
That's Shy. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's probably in some crazy union. They don't work on fucking Fridays or something. Who knows, man? But yeah, let's spitball some ideas. If everybody's in the chat room, yeah, DM on Instagram. We can borrow Cody's map. we'll cross our fingers and hope like it's a real map that does something.
You guys, you're not getting a hold of my map. You got to figure it out on your own.
You already sent it out. Like I have that shit. So
yeah, but you know how to open it up.
Please. You know what? I'll open it up and I'll actually follow it. That would be the amazing thing. So we could. Okay, we could try and do that. That sounds like a challenge. So, it's alternative number through Ting. Exactly. Like I don't know if Ting will. I don't know if Cody sent it to me through Ting. If I'll get the whole map or like coordinates will be missing. It'd just be a line through like a desert backdrop. Like, yeah, here it is, guys. Go have a good time.
I think
if you got Betty White brought up that don't ask Jose for Matt's number if you actually want to contact Matt.
That's true. I haven't heard from Jose. I don't know how long.
It's been a couple weeks. Jose's got a ton of work stuff going on right now. We should have talked about that earlier. Jose's got a ton of work stuff going on right now. He's just got some extracurricular activities to handle on the evenings for the next couple weeks. So we'll talk to him again soon.
So Tim has the itinerary already set up. Meet in desert. 1, meet in the desert. 2, set up tents. 3, open beer. 4, go home eventually. I like it.
He forgot.
That sounds like
he forgot 3.1. Fuck up somebody else's truck.
Yeah.
No.
Completely wreck whatever rental vehicle you borrowed for the weekend. Trash that shit.
And 3.2, have Casey make me some cold hot dogs.
3.3, kids throw up everywhere.
See, Nicole's on board. All right, guys.
Tim.
All right, guys. I'll tell you. I think Saturday morning. It sounds like I got something planned. So I'm gonna be the spearhead. It's Casey. Are you more likely to do something if it's local, or does it matter? It's like on or off, regardless.
I would say local makes it easier, but I don't want to. I'm not going to be the one to take away from where the trip was planned. You know what I mean?
You guys, the weather in Big Bear is going to be gorgeous this weekend, right? I mean, you should go do that trail, Casey, that we just did, that whole thing, and then find a camp spot and spend the night Saturday night and come home on Sunday.
So me and Matt can have a conversation. We'll talk.
We'll side. We'll put it to the side. But everybody in the chat room,
we'll do some side pinch.
Huh?
So we'll do some side pinch.
We'll pinch this.
We're gonna pinch this out, and then you guys will be the first to know.
Yeah, but definitely anybody that's I'll say it looks like we obviously have at least 4 people in the chat room that are down. We'll do something. We'll do something Saturday, Sunday for sure.
There you go, folks.
Nope, Shy's already down. Okay. All right.
Are you going to clip in that stuff from Saturday? Is that what we're doing?
Maybe. I wanted to actually, because I felt like Saturday was a little bit, and we had other stuff going on. But if the
the stuff we recorded.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. There's stuff we recorded. If I haven't listened to it yet. If it sounds good, then yeah, I'll just add it onto the end of this for like a different perspective. But,
okay.
All right. Well, that's I think that's it, guys. It's 7:50 our time. I am like I said in a hotel room. I still got to figure out my dinner situation for the night. So thank you to everybody in the chat room that is joining us, that is listening to our shenanigans and participating and making fun of us the entire time. Which is, by the way, we did feature you guys in our Q&A session on Saturday, and we talked about how the chat room on Tuesday nights has devolved into who can make the best joke about Cody. And I'm cool with it because I think it's funny. So, everybody, thank you for hanging out with us tonight. You guys have a great evening, and we will talk to you next week.
Thanks, everybody.
Later, skaters.